What's up, guys? This is Wenzes. Welcome back to my channel where we talk about personal development for INFJs and how to create an epic life on your terms. So we have a couple more days left in the INFJ Warrior Month, and today I want to talk to you about letting go of old stories. Why would you want that? Well, old stories are keeping you stuck because they give you a high, they make you feel good, but only for a second. We as INFJs are so prone to living in our mind and creating these amazing stories which give us such an endorphin kick that keeps us stuck from actually going forward in the real world and creating something that gets better. Because those stories, they seem great in the beginning. They give us this feeling. Sometimes we can't even distinguish, is it truth or is it just an imagination? Doesn't matter. It's a high, it's amazing. But the more you keep thinking about it and your reality doesn't match up to it, the more frustrated you get, the more depressed you get, and you don't know how to let go of it because by then you've been focusing on this one thing over and over again and it has become part of you. Today we're going to talk about how to tackle this issue that so many INFJs face. And before we get started, I want to remind you, if you want to take the next step in creating your INFJ epic life, then work with me privately. You have access to single sessions for just a couple more days, and then there's not going to be any more coaching for the end of the year. And then we start with packages again in the new year. So if you're interested in getting coaching, do it now. It's really the last chance for 2020. So why is this an INFJ topic? Well, as you know, I talk to a lot of INFJs, my clients through the boot camp, in the comment section, and there's always the same kind of stories I keep on hearing. One of them is that we stay stuck on stories, on people, on opportunities, and we stay stuck on them for years. So many of us don't really want to admit that. So I remember when I first started this journey, it wasn't something that people openly talked about. But I started talking about it, that I was obsessed over people that I didn't really have a relationship with, I had a crush on for years. And I'm talking sometimes 6-7 years. And this happened since I was probably 12 until I was a full-grown adult and I learned how to handle this. So this took a long time to master, and I still know that I have to work on this. The same thing applies to career opportunities, or when you feel, oh, this friendship group, there I could finally be happy, I could be understood, I could be popular or accepted, or whatever's going on in your mind. Things that you hold on. Old stories that are in our mind, and because of our imagination, they give us an endorphin kick. Once we understand this concept, once we understand that this is happening, we actually have the power to change it. Remember, we're talking about being an INFJ warrior, and that means utilizing the powers that you have as an INFJ. Things that probably aren't easy, but just because things are hard doesn't mean we can't do hard things. You can do this, it's going to be difficult, but it's definitely worth it. So once you recognize that you have those old stories, things that are going on in your mind, things that you want, relationships that you want, opportunities that you want, but it doesn't move forward. If you recognize that you're in a position like this, then it's on you to take the next step. And the next step is to recognize that you don't want this anymore. I'm not going to jump ahead and say, okay, you want something different, or that this is in any way something you can let go of, because being at a point where you know rationally you should let go of it, and then actually being able to let go, those are two completely different things. Because trust me, when you have been focusing on something over and over again, it's extremely difficult to get out of it. It's really an addiction. And to top it all off, the alternative is probably quite boring. See, why do so many people watch Netflix series? Why do we keep on fantasizing about something that is not happening? We're doing this because this is still better than looking at your reality, because that reality might be boring. It might be not looking like it's moving forward. You might feel alone there. You don't have a connection. You don't feel like people understand you. So of course you're going to go into your mind. It's not like other personality types aren't faced with these kind of things, but for INFJs in particular, this is so common because we have the ability to evoke those positive emotions in us through an imagination. For us, it's really blended. It's hard to distinguish, oh, is this really happening or is it in our mind? Both of those things do make us feel good. So what is the solution? Are you supposed to say, okay, I just need willpower? Definitely not, because willpower will not last. That is one of the things things I learned the hard way. That is one of the things I learned through trial and error. And I can guarantee you, willpower does not work. It's not a strength of ours. And even if it was, it isn't the best solution. Willpower will never ever get you out, because it's a continuous choice that you have to make to decide that you're going to take another path. And if you don't have a motivation, something that keeps on growing, something that makes you excited about an alternative path, you're always going to go back. That's why so many people struggle to get healthy, or they struggle to let go of smoking cigarettes or whatever it is, because it's not that easy. Like so many people want to lose weight, they want to get in shape, and we all know what to do. This isn't a miracle. We all know. Watch your diet, eat well, exercise, and you're going to be fine. This is a fact. And still, most people don't make it. Why? Because they aren't able to stick to a healthy diet. They might overcompensate, they might go on a binge, they might really restrict themselves and say, I will have the willpower. But in the end, that willpower will not last. And until you change your new normal, until you change your mindset to a state where the new choices become easier for you, they become exciting to you, you're always going to go back. So I remember the last thing that I had really set my mind on that wasn't healthy for me. It took me forever to get out. And it was really something that I did over and over again. I was able to let go of it for half a year, and then I went back to it. I then did this for like another year, and I went back. And I mean, with going back, it's just like I looked what that person was doing. I was fantasizing again about what kind of emotions this kind of connection gave me. And that was one of the things that kept me stuck. What I learned though, and what helped me to honestly get over this, was to start building something in the real world that makes me excited. This is so important, and for us INFJs in particular, it's a game changer. That's why I recommend that you work with the 5 pillars. You can download the poster where you see all of them. It's for free, the link is in the description, but just take it as like a guideline. Like even if you don't go about those 5 pillars, choose something that will improve your real world. Why is that necessary? Because, as I said, willpower will not help you. You have this image in your mind that sort of feels good. It's not perfect, but it gives you a feeling of being alive. And then you have what's really going on in your life, in the real world. And that's boring, that's sad, that's dark, and you don't know why you should choose that, why you should focus on this. But if you had something in your life that excites you, what I always call the INFJ epic life, you're that much more likely to continue to choose your real life instead of a thought and a vision that won't come to fruition. That is not to say that you shouldn't think about things that are moving forward. Like me, for example, I've been dreaming about being here in my business in this situation for years. And I'm of course envisioning how it's going to look like in 5 years. But I'm also moving towards that. I'm not fantasizing about something that might happen that is outside of my control. Like staying at home and wanting a better life and just thinking it's going to happen because I imagine it. We have to put action into it. We have to be in control. You cannot control other people. You cannot control if that one opportunity is going to be that thing for you. What you can control is your attitude and your actions. And for us INFJs, it's so important to understand that it's not going to work just by imagining things. It's not going to work just by unblocking things that are going on. We have to take inspired action. And the 5 pillars, for example, they give you a guideline. They show you, okay, focus on your physical energy management because you need the energy in order to change something in the real world. If you're not at the best of your capacity of utilizing the energy that you do have, you're not going to be in a great position to actually move forward, because particularly in the beginning, this is going to be hard work. And it's going to be hard work not because you have to work 10 hours a day, but because it takes mental focus. The next pillar is relationship management, to look at your relationships that are existing right here, right now, and to continuously decide which one of those relationships is really making me happy, which one is helping me to become the person I want to be. How can I change those dynamics? It's about setting goals in those aspects and knowing that the more you create a relationship dynamic that makes you happy, that you're in control of, the better it's going to be. A great example for this is that you always wait for people to invite you to a party or to some kind of group gathering that's going to be exciting because you don't want to be the one organizing it. because that means like I have to take responsibility for it, and I continuously have to choose doing that. I have to choose being the person who decides I'm going to create fun. But that's exactly what it takes. You can be the one who makes the effort in getting people together. You can be the one who makes the effort of saying, at least half of the time, I'm going to be the one who initiates a meeting with a friend. I'm going to make sure that I protect my boundaries. The next one is your wealth management. You gotta look at those things. So I'm not gonna go into detail of those. I've had a lot of videos on this, and if you wanna know more about this, like check out the Epic Life Masterclass. The next bootcamp is happening next year. We go there in detail. But the point is that you need to have a goal for your life. You need to have your vocation. You need to know what your purpose is, and you need to start building on it, even if you don't know exactly what it is. And you need to work on priorities. Once you start building something in the real world, you will recognize that with every single step, you get more excited about the real world. When you then compare what's going on in the real world and what's going on in that old story, then this thing will probably not feel less great, but your real world things are going to improve. They're going to make you feel better and better and better. And before you know it, it will feel that much better to keep on building on what is already growing. How this real world thing is becoming part of your vision and allows you to grow your vision even bigger. This happens not due to willpower. This happens to continuously choosing to work on this, knowing that willpower isn't going to cut it, that it takes time, and that in the beginning, it's not going to be that great. And as long as your image, as long as this idea is still making you feel better than the real world, you're always going to go back to this. But every single time you get to catch yourself and say, okay, maybe my willpower isn't strong enough for me to say, okay, every single time I think of that solution, I will get myself out of it. But the more this grows, the more often you can do this. Maybe first off, it's going to be just 1 in 10 times when you can stop yourself from thinking those thoughts and going into that direction of what is really being created in the real world. Before you know it, it's 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10, and then it's 10 out of 10 because it continuously makes you feel better. We have to work with how our mind is wired. Don't work against it by saying, oh, I should be able to. It's all about willpower. And it's also not going to work if you just say, but this feels good. Just because this feels good doesn't mean that this is the solution. You are a rational being. You know that you're bigger than this. And at the same time, don't be harsh on yourself. Be okay with the fact that your thoughts go back to these things. Be okay with daydreaming about those things that don't have a future over and over again. If you're being too harsh on yourself and you punish yourself and you tell yourself what a loser you are for doing this, it's just being counterproductive to where you want to go. Which is accepting who you are, understanding that this is human, that you want a positive emotional reaction. You want those endorphins. So don't punish yourself for wanting to go there. But know at the same time that you continuously choose yourself and you start building things in the real world, even if they don't feel good in the beginning. Because that's the only chance how you can create something that will feel good at some point, and that feeling can be better than the thing you're imagining. And it will overrule it. At some point it will happen. It has happened with everybody who stayed on track. It's just about continuously making that choice, deciding to go there. And when you fall off the wagon, and trust me, you will, it's never a one-way street ever. To be kind enough to yourself, to be understanding, to be forgiving, and then say, tomorrow I will try again. Decide today that a daydream is just not going to cut it. And trust me when I tell you, real world can be more exciting. Even if you've never experienced it before. I never experienced it before until I started my journey, but I can assure you it works. It works because you get to master your thoughts. You get to master how you feel about certain situations. Next time we're going to talk about how to stay in that positive state and not fall out of it. This is going to be really interesting, so look forward to that. And before that, remember, if you want my help in creating your INFJ Epic Life, then work with me privately. There are a couple of days left if you want to do coaching with me this year. And if you want to watch another video now that is in line with today's topic, then watch the last video where we talked about how to be in control of your thoughts. Like always, guys, I wish you a wonderful day, a great week, and I talk to you next time. Bye.